Hey, how's it going?
Hayden, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing awesome. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. All
Yeah,
right.
man. Are you're at BYU?
Yes, I am. I'm a freshman, so I just got back from a mission in Brazil.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, so I'm in my
Good
first
for you. That's
semester.
awesome.
Very excited. I love BYU.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's cool. Where are you from?
I'm from Nevada. My family lives in Elko, if you know where that is. It's like a tiny little city.
Hmm. Yeah, cool, man. Did you grow up in Elko then?
Well, I kind of lived around in a couple of places. Like I lived in St. George,
Hmm.
for 10 years. And then, like, once I was 10, then we moved to Arizona. We lived there for a
Uh-huh.
year, and then I went to Reno and then Elko. So,
Okay, cool, man.
yeah,
That's
but like
cool.
the last place I was living was Elko. So,
Yeah, that's cool. What's been your favorite place that you lived growing up?
oh man, I really liked Reno. We lived there for 4 years. That was like where I was able to like establish myself the most, probably. Because like St. George, I was just young, so I don't really remember it too much. But then
Yeah,
Reno definitely is probably one of my favorite places. Yeah. And
that's
where you're
cool.
from, I honestly I didn't research too much. I wanted to like have the
Okay.
questions just come naturally. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
where are you
I grew up in
from?
Salt Lake, so I
Salt
grew up.
Lake.
Yeah, I grew up down in Salt Lake in like East Mill Creek area, and
Okay.
I went to like Skyline High. I don't know if you know Salt Lake very well, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
East Bench, kind of by right by Mill Creek Canyon, kind of
Gotcha.
near Parley's Canyon, kind of. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
kind of
don't
in
know
that
those
area.
last two places, but I know Skyline because in Elko we did a bunch of like cross country and track competitions in Utah.
Cool.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's
Awesome,
awesome.
man. Well,
Did
sweet. Yeah.
Sorry, go
What are you?
ahead.
Are you working on a project then? Are you working on a like a school project or something right now?
Yeah, so this is technically part of a school project, but I'm mostly doing it just for fun because this is
Good for
like
you.
something I'm super passionate about. I didn't realize I was either. Like before my mission, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna probably go pre-med and see what happens, Like I wanted to
Uh-huh.
just like be a doctor because pretty much that's what I was like indoctrinated to do. I was like, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's it's safe-ish, and like it's lots of schooling, but I'm almost guaranteed to earn money either way. But then I got into this entrepreneurship class here at BYU, and I was just like, no, I'm good. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and do something with business. So that's my goal now.
Cool.
Yeah. So
That's
how
pretty
did
cool, man.
you? So you are the owner, founder, and owner, is that right? Of Kodiak Cakes?
Yeah, I'm one of the, yes, I am. I'm not, I don't own most, I own a little bit still, but
Okay.
I sold most of it about 3 years ago, oh,
Okay.
4 years ago now, to a big private equity group that came in and bought most of us out.
Okay.
I'm still the chairman of the board,
Very
so I
cool.
still have some involvement, but I'm not going, I'm not the CEO anymore. I left about let's see, 2.5 years ago. So I stayed even after we sold for
Mm-hmm.
another like year and a half, and then I decided to leave and bring in a new CEO. But anyway, I am one of the founders. My brother is technically the main founder, and
Gotcha.
I'm more of a co-founder. Although I did my when I was 8 years old, I sold homemade pancake mixes to neighbors with my mom's recipe.
Very
And that
cool.
was kind of that was kind of the earliest kind of start of Kodiak. And then my older brother took that idea years later when I was on my mission, and he created like our first product, and
Uh-huh.
created the brand. Kodiak started the company. And then when I got off my mission, he was ready to start selling the product, their first pancake mix. And so I went
Wow.
out and started selling it with him and helped him for a little bit. And then he ran it for another couple of years or so. And then I took it over. I
Mm-hmm.
was a little older than you. I was like 23. I was still going to the University of Utah and I was finishing up my degree. And John comes to me. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to shut this little pancake company down and do something else." I just, he didn't have time for it. It was a little side hustle
Mm-hmm.
and he just wanted to move on. And I'm like, "I'll take it over." Yeah. So I took it over and it was just me for a long time. Side hustle for me for 7 years actually. And then
Wow. And so
and
how
then
were
I
you
just
selling? Were you selling mostly online or was it like in person kind of stuff or?
mostly like little stores like gift shops and stuff at the time. And we did have we had some grocery stores. And then that was my goal, is to get it into grocery stores. In fact,
Hmm.
at that time, internet was just starting. People weren't buying a lot of food products online though. It was almost like weird to buy food online because you'd be like, wait, why would I buy that online and then have you ship it and I got to pay all that shipping costs? And now people, don't care that and don't care nearly as much. But yeah, but it was way more just in retail grocery stores, and that's kind of how we built
Hmm.
the business. We obviously have a big online presence now, but mostly I'd say 95% of our business is through grocery stores around the country.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, it's a good way to go. Yeah, grocery stores are great. Like it's it's a pain to sell through grocery stores too because they have so much control, right?
Hmm. Yeah, definitely.
But if you can get a product to work in grocery, like then you really know you have something because
Hmm.
you that because you're appealing because if you think about it, if you're in a grocery store, all the different demographics are walking through the grocery store, right? Of course, you have your target market. Like any business has a target market that you're trying to go after, target consumer. But if you can get something to really work in the grocery store, it's like it's very valuable, even more so than just having an online D2C business, actually.
Right. Yeah, I believe that.
So it's super interesting. But D2C is great. D2C business is awesome. You can get a great D2C
Uh-huh.
business going. A lot of food brands will start D2C and kind of build a market, build a community, and then start kind of working their way into grocery stores.
Right.
And if you can do both, that's super powerful.
Okay. Nice. What was the first grocery store you guys got into?
Well, the first like decent sized chain of grocery stores was called QFC. I'd
Okay.
say locally, I'd actually back up. The first local small chain was called Dan's. There were only like five Dan's. I don't know if I know there's at least one left. I'm not sure, but there were five Dan's in the Salt Lake Valley at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember I was delivering it to Dan's myself. Like I would literally take once a week, I'd like take it in and put it on the shelf and then leave them a little invoice.
Wow.
So I was delivering it myself to Dan's for quite a while. And then the first kind of bigger chain we got was a chain up in Seattle called QFC,
Okay.
back in like 97. I took this business over in 97, and my brother
Uh-huh.
had just gotten into QFC grocery stores at
Gotcha.
that. Yeah.
Wow. But these ones you weren't delivering by yourself, right?
Nope, we had a distributor on
Okay.
that one, luckily,
Nice.
because
Yeah,
they had
that's
a
good.
lot. They had like 90 stores. That was a big
Wow.
chain. It's a pretty big chain. We were like, oh, sweet,
Yeah.
we got into QFC stores, and yeah, so we had a distributor that was taking it into the stores for us.
Wow, that's way cool. Okay, and also I know that you guys were on Shark Tank, right?
Yep. Yep.
That's
2014. It aired in April of 2014. So
was
I was
this
on,
after or before the QFC?
this was after.
Okay.
So this was, in 2014 when it aired, by then we had gotten quite a few stores. We were probably selling in maybe, I would say probably 5,000 grocery stores at that time,
Okay.
which sounds like a
Wow.
lot, but we only had like a couple of products in those stores.
Hmm.
And
Was it just the
so
pancake
really,
mix?
yeah, we had two pancake mixes. It
Okay.
wasn't protein actually at the time,
It
so we
wasn't
hadn't
even
even,
protein
no,
pancake mix, just
it
plain old. Wow.
was a whole grain, but we were still doing whole grains.
Okay, yeah.
That was kind of our
That's like
niche,
what
like,
distinguished. Yeah, okay.
yeah. And but it wasn't protein, but it was that same year that we launched protein, 2014. So it was not long after Shark Tank aired. We were
Hmm.
just about to launch this product, and that's when it really started to go.
Okay.
That year was kind of that same year, Shark Tank, and then protein. Those two things kind of became a catalyst to really start
Uh-huh.
cranking the growth. It was cool.
Yeah, I just recently talked with the guy who started Illumibol. Do you know what that is? It was also
No,
on
I've never
Shark
heard.
Tank.
No.
Uh, it was like it's like this light that goes in a toilet so that you can see at night, but it's not like super bright, so you don't wake yourself
Oh,
up
no,
if
I
you
have
have to
heard of
like
it. I have.
yeah.
Cool.
So he said the same thing pretty much. Like he went on to Shark Tank and then that day did like 100,000 in sales or something, which was
I believe
incredible.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
Was it hard to get onto Shark Tank? Like what's the process? I don't even know.
Well, they have kind of two processes. One of them would be kind of like a typical like casting call where they'll kind of like put a date out there and then people can respond to that.
Mm-hmm.
But we just did it differently. So this guy Cameron, who worked with me, his name's Cameron Smith, and he joined me like 2009, right out of college. It's kind of my first real full-time employee, and just a really like just a sharp dude. He was a pretty young guy. He's probably 23, just finished up at the U, and I just needed someone kind of younger because I didn't have the money to pay for someone with a ton of experience. So I needed someone young, but someone really energetic and that could just really help me build the business. And he's very
Sure.
proactive and just a good dude. So anyway, he one day he comes to me, he's like, "Hey, I'm going to try to get us on Shark Tank," you know, and
Nice. I
I'm
love
like,
that.
"Go for it, man. Go for it." We needed publicity and we needed exposure, and we didn't
For
have
sure.
much of a marketing budget, to pay for it. So we knew Shark Tank was free, and we were thinking about maybe raising money at some point. So he just emailed in. He literally went to the website and sent an email, and they responded. They're like, "Hey, we like your story. We want to talk to you guys." So we kept talking to them, and they ended up saying, "All right, we're going to put you guys on the show." So yeah, it was cool.
Wow. That is so awesome. Yeah. Okay, very cool. And then did you from what I found, you did not take a deal, is that right? Like I didn't see the
Right.
episode or anything, but you didn't
Yeah.
take it.
We didn't take a deal. We did get a couple offers, but they were just so low ball that we were like,
Mm-hmm.
"Nah, let's bag it." So we ended up walking off the show and just kind of going back to our own. We had been thinking about and talking about raising capital for a while, actually. Even
Uh-huh.
before the show, we were like, man, at some point we really may need to raise some money. We're growing, and we were starting to see pretty good growth even at that time. But what we also kind of learned was, like you're not really working with the sharks that much. They have their own teams, investor teams. And
Right.
so, you work with them a little bit, but it's more just like it just ends up becoming kind of like any other investor, kind of. Although they might be able to get you a little bit of publicity over time. But we just thought, you know what, if the deal is good and fair, then we would do it. But it was such a like the low ball, the offer was so bad and such a low ball that we're like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, screw it, let's walk off and we'll just try to raise money on our
Yeah.
own, which we later did.
Right. And I think
So
that shows confidence on your guys' end too. Like you guys know that you have something good that's definitely
yeah,
worth
you
more,
need
right?
to. Totally. Yeah. You don't want to just sell yourself short. I mean, sometimes you're like desperate for capital and that can happen and you kind of have to do a bad deal sometimes in business,
Yeah.
but
But at this point, you guys were
you don't
already
want it.
pretty well established. It doesn't seem like you guys needed it, really.
Yeah, we were growing. We were starting to really grow and we could have done it without. And so that's why we were like, look, if the deal's good, we'll do it. If not, we're not desperate for money. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
we didn't do it. We did finally end up raising money, but it was about 2 years later, just from a different private equity group. And by
Mm-hmm.
then we were even more established and we were really growing. And so the deal we ended up doing was a lot better anyway than what we would have done on Shark Tank. So I'm
Yeah.
glad we did do it.
Yeah.
Super glad.
Yeah, definitely. That's so awesome. But yeah, either way, I think for what it seems like, Shark Tank did good as far as like getting the word out. Because lots of people watch Shark
Yeah.
Tank. I know I do. I love watching Shark Tank.
Yeah, that kind of exposure is incredible. Like it's so
Mm-hmm.
powerful, right? So it's
Yeah,
like I think
definitely.
one of the things that I remember kind of learning early on was like when I took it over, when I took Kodiak over, I was I was I think I was a junior. It was either a sophomore or junior in college, and so I was doing working on this thing at night. I picked up like the Dan's grocery store as I told you, and then I think I just
Mm-hmm.
had a few other small stores. No, I had picked up. That's not true. I had picked up Smith's by this time, Smith stores, and there were like 70 Smith stores in this region. And then so I remember thinking to myself, holy crap, I just need exposure. I just need like people
Mm-hmm.
hearing about this. And we didn't have social media at the time. So it was kind of like you had to kind of go after traditional. The only way you could get anything done for free was traditional media, right? So either you had to like spend a bunch of money on advertising
Mm-hmm.
or try to get earned media, which means trying to get newspapers to talk about you, trying to get the news to talk about you. So
Mm-hmm.
I remember one day someone's like, "Hey, you could get the newspaper to write a story about you, about your family pancake recipe, turned it into a
Right.
product. I'm like, I'm going to do that then. I'm going to try. So I remember I started calling up
Nice.
like the Deseret News, the Salt Lake Tribune, all these like newspapers. And this lady goes, so I'm talking to this lady on the phone. I got this lady to answer the phone. And she's like, yeah, tell me about your product and your story. So I told her, and she's like, this is really cool. I'd love to do a little story on you guys. And she's like, send me a press release. And I'm like, what's a press release? It's like a formatted document. You kind of tell the story. I
Uh-huh.
just wrote her a letter and sent her some product. And she wrote like a great article that hit in the Deseret News. And I still had a job at that point. So I remember I went to work and I was at work and I get a call on my cell phone. And this lady from Dan's actually, she's like, hey, Joel, there's been a newspaper article about you guys today. You are completely sold out. Everyone's coming here to pick up the product and we're out. Can you get over here and bring me some more? And I'm like, yeah. So I told my boss, I'm like, I gotta go. Sorry. So I left and I went and grabbed a whole bunch of product and I took it into the store and she was
Oh my
pumped.
gosh.
But I couldn't believe the demand that it created, right? And I
Yeah.
think that was kind of the lesson. It was like, dude, if you can get the right promotion, the right publicity, the right exposure, however you get it, right? Social media is
Yeah.
such a great driver for it today, but it's like the power of that. Just people were in the store, clearing out the shelves, trying to find it, and then I was like, ooh, that was cool. I'm going to try to get more articles. I just didn't know
For
that it would
sure.
do, didn't know what kind of effect it would have. So then, then the Tribune wrote a really great article about us, and then all the other smaller papers. There's one down in Provo, like the Herald, I think, and then there was one up in
Right.
up in Davis County, then Ogden. Got all these papers to write articles. Then
That
I
is
started
so
calling the
rad.
news. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try to get on the news. So I call up Channel 5, it was KSL. I'm like, hey, tell them about it. They're like, yeah, we will come and do a morning. We'll send a reporter out and do a little story on you guys, like on the morning show, on the morning news. So they send this reporter out, and but my brother and I cooked pancakes in my parents' kitchen, and so it was like it worked. Then I got Channel
Wow.
4, and then I got Channel 2, and then I got like Fox 13. I got all these these news
Wow.
to come, and then I started like going. I started approaching the news, and I'd be like, "Hey, can I just come on your daytime segment, your daytime news?" They have these like random shows that were kind of geared towards moms who were home,
Hmm.
and I'm like, "I'll come on and make a recipe." They're like, "Yeah, do it." So I started getting all these like these news segments where I just go on the news and do recipes, and it was it was fun, but it's
Wow.
like you got to be scrappy. You got to figure out, okay, how can I get the word out?
Uh-huh.
And without a lot of money, because when you're a small business, you have
Hmm.
tight budgets. But it was fun.
Right. Definitely. So are you a big cook then?
I do. I love to cook. I really do. And I think just being in this food world really kind of got me into it even more because I was always
Yeah, I
like
can
coming up with
imagine.
recipes, like what can you do with a pancake mix outside of just making pancakes, right?
Uh-huh.
So I started baking a ton with it, making cookies and making muffins and all kinds of different
Hmm.
things. So yeah, I
Wow.
actually do love to cook. It's really
Very
fun.
awesome. Okay, I'm going back a little bit, but this
Yeah,
recipe, this was your mom's recipe, is that right?
it
Okay,
was. Yep.
that's cool. And she made it for you guys, like, I imagine a lot.
Yeah. She made it for us a lot growing up. My mom was
And
way into like whole grains, healthy eating, and so
uh-huh,
she was always making us really healthy foods, and her whole wheat pancake mix was one of those
that's
that
so
we
cool.
loved.
And
Yeah.
did she already sell it, or was that something that you guys like came up with later? You were like, oh, we'll just sell it to our neighbors or whatever.
Yeah, it was her idea to do that, to like actually
Okay.
try to sell it to
Your mom is
neighbors.
a genius for that. That
Yeah,
is
dude, I know
sweet.
that. I owe my whole career to her, for real. But yeah, it was her idea to try to make a mix, based on her recipe,
Uh-huh.
and then try to sell that. And so that was what we did when I was 8. Is we made these little homemade pancake mixes in
Hmm.
like a brown paper lunch sack. You take a
Right.
lunch, those little
Oh
brown
man,
paper lunch sack.
that is
We
so
put
cool.
we put flour and all the ingredients in there. Then my mom actually hand wrote on the bags like how to make it on like a piece of white paper. We
Right.
glued that on, and then I literally went in my red wagon. I put all these little mixes in my red wagon, and I knocked on the doors of all the neighbors, and I sold all the pancake mixes that we made. So that
Wow.
was like really the earliest kind of. We didn't keep doing it though. I mean, we didn't like. It's not like we were continuing to sell this pancake mix to everybody. We just did it that one time, and then I got some reorders. People wanted more, so we
Mm-hmm.
sold them more, but we kind of just let it die out at that time. But that was kind
Mm-hmm.
of the inspiration, for
Right.
later for my brother when
Uh-huh.
this was 8 years later when my brother said, "I want to start a business," and
Yeah.
that would have been 1994. Yeah, when my brother was just about to do it. It was even longer than that. It would have been like 12 years later. Yeah,
Wow.
12 years later. And then my brother's like, I want to do a business. My mom's like, hey, why don't you take the pancake idea and make a real product out of it?
Yeah. Wow, that is a wise mother right there. Shout out to the
For
mom.
sure, man. I know.
Goodness.
I know, man. She gets a lot of credit for this whole thing.
Yeah. Um, all right. So now what have been like your favorite and least favorite parts of this whole process? Obviously, like it wasn't just a night to day kind of thing. Like obviously
Yeah,
there have been a lot of things. So that's a
that's a
broad
good question.
question. But yeah, what have been your least and most favorite parts?
Well, I'll tell you, the least favorite became my most favorite. And what that was what I was really kind of scared of, Caden, like especially early on, because I was just running this little pancake thing by myself, and for a long time, while it was a side hustle and just trying to get it going. And the reason why I was able to do it by myself is because we had somebody else, like we had another little company down in Salt Lake that manufactured the product for us. So we were outsourcing that to this little company. So I didn't have to have employees, and we weren't like trying to manufacture all this stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
it's common in food, by the way. A lot of companies will just outsource their production to somebody else.
Gotcha.
So anyway, that it was just me, but what I was really scared of was if we grew, of what it would be like to have employees. That's what I was actually scared of, and I was like, oh man, I just don't know if I want the hassle of having employees, and that sounds really hard, and
Mm-hmm.
all that just sounded like a nightmare. And when I first started hiring people, it was kind of hard, because it's like, how do I manage them? How do I make sure that how do I know what to have them do? And make sure they're happy and all this stuff. And that wasn't like the easiest thing,
Mm-hmm.
because when it was me, I knew how to do everything. I was doing everything, but I knew I couldn't grow unless I started getting help and delegating and all that. So yeah, at first that was really kind of hard and it was difficult and I wasn't good at it at first. I wasn't good at it. And there's lots you have to learn to become a leader. Leadership is Leadership takes time. It takes patience. It takes reading about it. How do you have these hard conversations? How do you make sure everybody has clear goals and direction and the right structure to follow up? All of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was really hard for me at first, and that was the part that I didn't like the most. But then over time, that actually became the part that I loved the most. And it's funny because, of course, I loved things like seeing the brand grow and all these new products, right? And I loved that too. I loved all the new products that we created, and that was so fun. We even brought Zach Efron on. He was one of we brought
Wow.
him on the board a few years ago, and so we did a lot of commercials with him. We made this really cool Moab commercial with him. You should look it up. It's called, I can't remember. It's like we did this big giant rope swing with Zach Efron and in Moab, and that was super fun actually.
That's awesome. Is Zac
So
Efron a
we
cool guy?
he is a great dude. He really is. He's a really nice guy.
That's rad.
Super fun, just down to earth guy. Fun to be around. So that we had a lot of like as this business grew, there were some real highlights and really amazing moments. And I had to pinch myself and go, "Holy smokes, man! This thing actually turned into this." But at the end of the day, my most favorite part was the team, the people around me, my employees. And so what I learned through that experience was, wow, if I really try hard to be a good leader and create a great culture and work well with people and empower people and then that became so rewarding and so fulfilling because we were all building something together, and I ended up sharing ownership with every single person in the business. So everybody
Wow.
in the business got a little bit of ownership in it, and so when we sold, everybody got something. And so it was fun to share and be like, hey, everyone gets to earn a little part, earn a little bit of what they're building.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was actually fun. So that to me was I'd say that was the funnest thing, hardest
That's
and
so
funnest.
cool. And you said you served a mission, right?
I did. Yep. I served in Australia.
Oh, that's awesome. What mission exactly, do you know?
Called Adelaide.
Adelaide, and it still
Adelaide,
exists?
Australia. Yeah. It's still a
Okay,
mission today.
sweet. That's so
Mhm.
cool. I imagine
Yeah.
that a lot of the lessons you learned on your mission were applied in the process of building Kodiak cakes, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the perseverance, the talking to people like is a big one,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be willing, it's like you're a missionary, you have to go talk to people and it's hard.
Totally.
And like if you want to be an entrepreneur, I think you can find people to do that part for you if you're, but
Mm-hmm.
it's, I think it's you're more successful if you just get out of your comfort zone, get on the phone, call people.
Right.
You got to make sales. You got to make
Uh-huh.
sales, and you got to network, and you've got to like meet people and find good people to work with and all that. So I'd say that that part of the mission was honestly, it's like one of the best things. You got to get
Mm-hmm.
out of your comfort zone. You got to talk to people and open up and ask people to do things. That's
Right.
hard.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
It's
definitely.
really hard. Yeah.
And I also wanted to ask, what is your favorite scripture? This is a little off topic, but I think it still has to do with a lot of this.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there's
You know
spiritual,
what?
aspects in everything, even
Oh,
entrepreneurship.
dude, 100%, man. You're not kidding. I would say I would probably just come back to like First Nephi 3:5, where he says, "I'll go and do the things the Lord hath commanded." Because I just think that makes sense. Because it's like in life, we're always kind of going down a road that feels daunting or that we don't know how to do it right. And then when he says, "The Lord will prepare the way for you," so you can
Hmm.
actually do what he's asking. It's like I think that's still the best one because it's like it's always, especially as you're an any path that you take in life is going to have its challenges. It's going to be uncertain. It's going to
Yeah.
be dark. And I feel dark at times. But I think it's like having that trust that, you know what, God is going to prepare the way. Just knowing that you're on a path that you feel like God is, like directing you and guiding you is amazing. But then just having that faith that, hey, I know he's going to take care of me. He's going to like help me to
Hmm.
do what he wants me to do. And part of what he wants you to do, like think about this. Sometimes we don't talk about this enough, but think about what he wants you to do, Caden. He wants you to have a career. He
Hmm.
wants you to, he wants
Oh,
you
totally.
to, right? To have a family. He wants you to pave a trail for yourself in life.
Yeah.
And that is literally just have a great career, figure out how to earn money.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
There's a
and help.
talk, I don't remember who it's by, but he says exactly this. Breadwinning is a consecrated activity. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I love
totally.
it.
I don't
I
think
love
God
it.
wants us to like suffer in poverty.
No, he doesn't. So he's asked us to do that. He even says, "By the sweat of thy brow shalt thou eat thy bread all the days of thy life."
Yeah.
Right. So it's like basically we're commanded to go and figure out a career, support a great family, build families,
Hmm.
support them. So why wouldn't he help us? Well, he says he will. I'll help you. I'll prepare the way, and so you can accomplish the things that I've
Yeah,
asked you to do. So
totally.
anyway, I felt that though. I mean, I really did feel that in my career. I
That's
knew that
awesome.
it was hard and it was very uncertain. There were times where I'm like, I might have to quit.
Yeah,
I was open to that. I was never too prideful or arrogant to think that it
that's
couldn't
good.
work. No, you can't. You want it to work and you want to believe and you want to be optimistic, but I always had kind of a backup plan in my back pocket. Like if this doesn't work, what am I going to do?
Uh-huh.
I always had stuff in mind, but I
Right.
wanted it to work. I hoped it would. So
Yeah.
yeah, question though.
I think that that's something that's like super common among entrepreneurs is just to always have like something to fall back on. Like
Yeah.
like especially the ones who have like seen lots of success, like they never put too many eggs in one basket, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
also like the aspect of just even being humble enough to like not put everything into one business or project or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That might be
Yeah.
part of why Utah has so many great entrepreneurs is just because like it's a lot of gospel based stuff,
Yeah, I agree.
which I think
I
is really cool.
I
Did you
totally agree
ever
with you.
see yourself getting into entrepreneurship? Like were you going to school for entrepreneurship or what were you studying?
Yeah, I did an economics degree. So my undergrad was economics, and then I did an MBA. So I wanted to be an entrepreneur. That's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to have a
Hmm.
business. I I really like that was my goal. I didn't know it would be that early. Like I thought I would go work for somebody for a while and kind of get some experience and then maybe do it.
Hmm.
But the pancake thing kind of came into my lap early, and so I decided to go for it. But
Awesome.
yeah, for me, I really wanted to do that. But again, like I kind of said, it's like you have to find the right balance of believing that you can do it and manifesting, right? Manifesting things in your life. So you got to
Hmm.
find that right balance and really believing and having faith that you can do it.
Yeah.
Yet yet just being open enough to if the Lord wants to guide you into something else, just kind of being open to that a little bit. I think that I tried to walk that balance. Because you also don't want to be like, well, whatever you want me to do, God. I mean, it's like, no,
Hmm.
God wants us to make decisions and go.
Yeah. Yeah,
Be,
absolutely.
be proactive. And he's like, we are agents unto ourselves. And so it's like, usually what we want to do is God is cool with. He's cool with it. But like, I guess I'm just like, you have to be real. And a lot of businesses don't make it. A lot
Hmm.
of them fail. And it's like, it doesn't mean it just might mean you got to pivot into something else. And so you just have to you got to be optimistic enough,
Hmm.
but rational enough not to make dumb decisions. Right.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
I think I'm kind of the same way. I'm like very optimistic, sometimes to a fault, but I guess that's where humility plays a role too. Is like you got to be humble
Yeah.
enough to realize that like sometimes it just like straight up does not work, and that's
Yeah. And
okay.
that's okay. And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean it doesn't totally. I used to be afraid of that a little bit more, like afraid that, gosh, if Kodiak fails, what am I going to do? And
Hmm.
am I going to be able to get a job if I have to, whatever? It's like, no, people respect that. People actually respect
Totally.
someone who's willing to kind of put it all on the line and go try something, even if it doesn't work. It's like, okay, cool. You gave it a try. That's incredible. Good for you for putting it all on the line to give it a try, even if you got to just admit, gosh, it just didn't work. I got to go get a job now. It's not the end of the world,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Yeah, for sure. Um, do you have any advice for me? I mean, I've got a little bit of experience as far as like starting businesses. Like my mom and I, we started like a balloon decor business back in Reno, and then we moved it to Elko. But now since I'm in Provo and like I couldn't bring all the stuff with me, I'm not
yeah.
really doing that. So I'm looking to start something else up here. Maybe even continue that, but I don't really have a car, so
Yeah.
it's kind of hard. But anyways, do you have any
That's a
advice
cool
for
idea.
me as someone
Yeah.
who's like very inexperienced with business owning?
Well, I would say, I mean, what you're doing actually, just getting on, just reaching out to me, like you drummed up a call today, right? By just reaching out to the Kodiak office,
Yeah.
cold.
I did that totally on a whim, by the way. I was like, who knows? Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I'm like
Yeah. Well, I
super
always
small
respect
time
that.
reaching out to
Yeah,
super big time, but it worked. And I'm very
dude,
happy
I'm
about
telling
that.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the fact that yeah, I recognize that. I mean, I did the same type of stuff. It's like you have to you have to do that. You have to do exactly what you just did. You just have to like try and believe and never it's never like, oh, he would never talk to me. What you just did, the reason this is why I got on the phone with you is because you had the guts to reach out, right? And so like guess how many people do? Not very often. You might think that I'm getting these calls all the time from students that want to get on the phone. I'm probably getting, I probably get one a year from a BYU student. I've had other BYU students reach out just cold through the website and be like, hey, would Joel be willing to get on a call with me and just chat? I've got a project or I just want to talk. But they don't. And so what I'm kind of telling you is you just have to you're taking the path a little bit less traveled.
Hmm.
You had enough guts and belief in yourself to be like, why not? Maybe he would. Maybe I can learn something, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, that's like already a big deal. And that's the kind of thing that you need to do. It's like you just try, you just start
Yeah.
moving ahead, progress, you be proactive. And then like even this balloon thing that you're talking about could be a really cool business, And it's like whether it's that or not, but the fact that you guys were doing that and took steps and made effort is what it's about. I used to buy and sell cars when I was in college. I still do it
Hmm.
now for fun, but I
Nice.
did it in college and then early marriage to make extra money. So do you know how I did it? I used to go drive neighborhoods and knock doors where I'd see like an old truck sitting on the side of the house that looked like in good shape, maybe a camper next to it. You can tell it's probably an old person living there and they've got
Hmm.
this old truck. Maybe they're not driving it. I'd knock on the door. Hey, do you want to sell your old truck? Be like, yeah, we're not driving it anymore. I bought so many old vehicles that way just by showing up,
Uh-huh.
just by doing it the way that nobody else does it,
Yeah.
right? I still do it. I still do it. It's fun. It's just a hobby now, but I
That's
did the
so
exact
awesome.
same thing that you did. So you kind of just you're not afraid, and that is a great talent. So keep that and keep the humility, right? Because
Yeah.
we see a lot of entrepreneurs in Utah who make it, and then all of a sudden they think they're so cool, and it's like that's like I never get that because the journey is hard. It's humbling. If
Hmm.
anything, you get smacked around in the face all the time. It's not easy, and
Yeah.
it's a hard path. And so how could anybody ever become arrogant because of that? I don't get it. It's a brutal path and you need God on your side the whole time. You just need him. You need
Absolutely.
him to. So I you can do it, man. Just believe in yourself. Keep that humility,
Yeah.
but
Believe in God first, right?
lots of belief.
Yeah.
Lots of belief, lots of confidence. And you do that in a humble way, then people want to be with you because it's like they want to be around that. They want to be around
Hmm.
that energy. But I would just say keep going, keep learning and having conversations like what you just did with me. Because the other reason why, if you do it enough, you start to when I was your age, I remember thinking entrepreneurship sounds very untouchable. It sounds very yeah, untouchable or like unknown and like, gosh, could I ever do that? How did these guys all of a sudden they're successful and all of a sudden they're just so successful? Well, it's not all of a sudden. It's step by step. And
Hmm.
so when you start having conversations like what you're doing today with me, you start to see the steps. You start to visualize it. You start to go, I could do that actually. I can see the path. You get vision for it. So one thing I'll tell you one more thing, and then you can then I'll shut up for a sec. But
No, it's all
when I
good.
was so my brother, this is my brother's idea. He was doing his master's at the U, his MBA, and he went to one of the professors and said, "Hey, can I design my own class?" And they said, "Yeah, what do you want to do?" And he's like, "I want to interview 20 entrepreneurs for my class. So I'm going to interview 20 entrepreneurs, and then I'm going to write a paper about what I learned. What are the themes that I learned, or what does it take to be a successful entrepreneur? Like, what does it take?" You know? And he's like, and can you actually consider entrepreneurship a career path? And he's like, I'll read a couple books about, business stories, and then I'll write this paper. So he did that. And they said yes. So he took me along on all the interviews. We interviewed 20 entrepreneurs, like exactly what you're doing with me today. 20 local Utah, really successful entrepreneurs. We interviewed them. I went with them and it was incredible. I mean, I was so inspired after that. I was like, I can do it. And so then I did that same thing myself. I did a class like that for my undergrad. And my advisor in my department said, "Yeah, I'll let you do that for an elective." So I did the same thing. I
Oh
interviewed
man.
another 20 entrepreneurs. And so we met all these people and there were amazing themes and all these things. And I'm like, you know what? These guys are just normal dudes. They're just hardworking guys. They're good. Most all of them were good guys. These were not these arrogant. There was a couple that were maybe a little bit, but most of them were just super good dudes that, were hardworking guys, put a
Hmm.
lot on the line, sacrificed and made it. So anyway, you're doing the right thing. Just keep going.
Thank you
You
very
can do it.
much. I appreciate that. Because this is
Yeah,
something
man.
that like I'm like very genuinely passionate about. I didn't even realize like how much I would love doing stuff like this, but yeah, man, it's
Yeah.
been so fun. So,
That's awesome, Caden. It's fun, dude. It's really, really fun. And there is so much to go around. The abundance mentality is real. There's so much to go around.
hmm.
There's plenty. But the other thing is the world really does need good leaders. And as an entrepreneur, I never thought of myself as a leader. I just thought I'm just going after a business idea and I'm going to try to make it work. It's like, no, you're actually a leader. You're leading. You're trying to get people
Hmm.
to follow you. You have an idea, trying to get employees, trying to get vendors and suppliers and buyers to follow you. So learning a lot about leadership development and kind of early on is something I wish I would have done even sooner. But the world needs great leadership, and that's how you can contribute to the world is by you create a business, you create an incredible culture where you build people around you, you love people around you,
Hmm.
you make it about them and not you, and they will give you everything they have. And then you will build, that's how you build a great business, is about people helping you because they're so smart and they bring everything, but they have to love you as the leader, you know.
Yeah.
But you're making a contribution because you're creating jobs and you're doing good in the world.
Hmm.
And so it's so entrepreneurship and business leadership is so fun, really,
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah. And I think it's definitely more fun once you do it the way that you're explaining it. It's not like really the way you explain it just makes it so simple. It's like primarily just love the people around you. That's probably the best
That
leadership you can do, at least in my
is
opinion.
it.
In God's opinion too. It's like big
Mhm.
two commandments. So
Exactly. It's
yeah,
it's the have you heard of Stephen Covey?
yeah,
Wrote like Seven Habits for Highly Successful
yeah,
People,
yeah,
all
yeah.
that.
Hmm.
Franklin Covey, like he his definition of leadership was to believe in, let's see, believe in people so much. No, it was help others see their leadership is to help others see their worth and potential so clearly that they begin to believe it in themselves. So think about that. So I'll say it one more time. Leadership is he basically was defining leadership and saying
Hmm.
leadership is helping others to see their worth, that's God, right? And potential so clearly that they begin to see it in themselves. It's not
Yeah.
about the leader,
Oh
right?
man, that is awesome.
It's about everybody else. And if you lead that way, you're unstoppable because then you also have this
Right?
team of people that is empowered, that believes in themselves. You have to give people feedback if they're doing something wrong, but in a kind way. But man, if you're around people and they all believe in themselves and they're like, holy crap, Caden's the best. Every time I go in, he's telling me like what a good job I do and how cool, how nice, how great I am. I feel great. I'm gonna run through walls for that guy. I'm
Right.
gonna give him everything I got because he's the best leader I've ever had. Then you create a business that is magic because that energy travels and everybody around feels it. It permeates even into it's intangible, but you can't believe how much it permeates. Consumers feel it. They want to be around brands that have great energy. So brands that have great energy usually have great cultures.
Yeah. Wow.
So anyway,
Thank you.
I kind of said a lot, but you
No,
know,
that's perfect. That is like exactly what I was looking for. So thank you.
you
I'm
bet.
probably gonna head out now because I gotta get to
Hey man,
class. But dude, thank you
awesome,
so
Caden.
much. I am
Yeah,
very honored and very happy that I got to talk with you. I
yeah,
mean,
man, it's good chat.
Kodiak cakes is something that's like a staple in my pantry. So yeah, I
Awesome,
appreciate it, dude.
cool. Hey, Caden, good luck with all you're doing, man. You're a stud.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
You too. Have a good one.
Yeah, bye.